Okay, we're going to do the final clip here, and what I want to do in this case is actually show you how to work with Model Builder to build a tool that saves you time. And in this case, if you remember, making a point feature class from a table actually required two steps. We had to first add the table to the desktop, and then from that we selected create an event theme, and then once we created the event theme, and we exported that as a feature class. And in a sense, what I'm going to do is put those all together and create a tool that we can do that all those steps at once each time. And what we'll find out later is that we can actually use that in a batch process to do this to many tables at once. But what we have again is here's our model builder desktop, and we know that again we have to use the make XY event layer, and we're also going to need that feature class to feature class tool. And we'll look for that one, and I'm going to drag that one onto my model builder environment too. Now, when we see this, then what I want you to think about, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see kind of what's going on here, is that we know already that the event theme becomes one of the inputs to the feature class to feature class. So I'm going to connect those right now, and then I'm going to reorder this. The next piece, though, that I want to do is I want to expose the variables or parameters within each of our processes. So I'm going to click on the first of these, and I'm going to go up here to the make variable. And you'll notice within the make variable from parameter, you'll notice that for the make XY event layer, there are several parameters that are potentially necessary. And for me, the first one that I obviously wanted to be able to do is I need to be able to input a table. So I'm going to click on that. And by the way, you'll notice that that's now populated out here. I'm going to click on it again, and I'm going to go back to make parameter. Make variable from parameter, and you'll notice now that the XY table is no longer in the list. Well, Model Builder is kind of nice in that way. Once you add a parameter, it removes it from being added again. So I need to add, I want the X field, and I want the Y field, and in this case, I'm also going to want the spatial reference, that is the datum. And you'll notice that that one actually turns blue, in other words, it's already populated, because the data frame has its datum or coordinate system already defined, and so it's referencing that. Now the next thing that I want to do is I want to do the same thing for my next piece of the tool. I'm going to click on, again, this process, feature class to feature class. Again, look at my variables and expose them. I want the output location, need to know where it's going to be written to, and I also want to know what it's going to be called. Now I'm going to leave the rest of those because I don't actually need those. There are default options for the rest of them. But those are the ones I definitely want. Now I'm going to re-layout or use the auto layout tool so that I can see the whole thing now. And you'll know, so this is my whole process. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that when this model actually runs, and it's going to run in the end, I want what it produces to be added to my display. So I'm going to click on my output feature class, and I'm going to say add to display. Okay, click on that. Next thing that I want to do is for each of these things that I want the end user to write, if you will, I want to call them a parameter. So I'm going to click on model parameter, and you'll notice that these things then have a P next to them. Okay, and so I've put the output features as parameters, and you'll see what that means in just a minute. Model parameter means that the user of the tool has to actually fill in these fields. So I'm going to select each one of these, and I'm going to say that I want the user of this tool, myself, to have to fill in this information before the model runs. And so you'll notice that these are the things that I want them to be able to put out there. I'm also going to have all of these. Again, I want to look at this and make sure you'll notice that if you look at them, now that they're P's, you'll see that little check mark there. And I could theoretically remove them as model parameters in the future. All right, so there are all the pieces. And now what I want to do is save the model. And so I'm going to click Save As. And again, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting these into our own toolbox. And so under the Save As, first thing I want you to do is create a new toolbox. And so I'm going to name this tool Stapleton Tools. Okay. Once that's done, okay, I've created this, and now I'm going to go into it, and I'm going to call this model table 2 points. Now I've already done this in a practice, so it's going to overwrite one that I've already created. But there's our table 2 points tool. Now I'm going to close this for a minute, and what we're going to do is actually look at it from the other environment. So I'm going to close it. It's been saved. And now I'm going to add that toolbox that I just created to my toolbox layout. And you'll notice here it is. I'm going to, again, just let you know what I did. I opened up the toolbox catalog, right-clicked on the top toolbox, and I'm going to click Add Toolbox. It will take me to where I just created that one. I select it. And you'll notice that then that toolbox comes in right here at the bottom there, alphabetical. And if I expand that, you'll notice there are my tools. And again, we can look at it by clicking on Edit. And there are all of our pieces. Okay? And what I'm going to do then is now I'm going to look at this from the standpoint of an actual tool. And you'll notice if I were to look at any other tools up here, for example, I'm just going to pull out a tool in Spatial Analyst. If I selected one of these, it would open up this type of interface, and it asks me to populate it. Well, the tool that I just created does the same thing. I'm going to go back to this, and now I'm going to open it. And you'll notice that all those things that I asked to be parameters are now listed. XY table, X field, Y field, output location, and the output feature class. Well, here we go. We're going to actually fill these in. So I'm going to choose the CSV table. I'm going to let X field be long, Y field be lat, and it defaults to that because of the tool itself. And I'm going to say I want the output location to be the Stapleton geodatabase, and I want it to be called tool points. And I'm going to click OK. Now, once I click OK, the tool is actually going to run. And you'll notice that we get into this, and everything looks to be OK. And I'm going to click Close. And now I want to add that. I'm going to go back here, and you'll see there it is. And I'm going to add that. And there are my points. So the tool has, in fact, created the points. And I have this tool that I can use at any time when I want to add points using a table. All right, that's the end of the final introductory video